Hello, I'm back and we're ready to do our fun fold card. This is the second card of the February class, and we're going to again use Daffodil Daydream, and this is going to be a gatefold card. I'm calling it an asymmetric gatefold card because the two sides are not even. It's not the classical gatefold in the center. But I wanted to show you real quick how I decided on my dimensions for the gatefold. I just sat and played with a little diagram, and what I did was I figured it out for landscape and also for portraits. So this is portrait, and then this I did also one in landscape, and I wanted to have room on one side for the daffodil and then just have one of the alternate papers on the other side. And so I just played around with the dimensions. And so in this inside of the portrait card, you want to have 4 1/4 inches across. It's just a half. You have a half sheet of paper here. So if you have 4 1/4 here, then I just played with the dimensions until I got what looked good to me. So it was 3 inches and then 1 1/4 inches. So the two of them together made up the 8 1/2. So it's just some simple addition and subtraction to figure out how you want to do it. And you could also do it the opposite direction if you want to have a thin one in the front, or you could vary the sizes, just add and subtract from the two sides to get what you want for your card. And again, the same thing for the landscape. This is a half sheet of cardstock cut hot dog style, so you've got 11 inches altogether, and you want to have 5 1/2 in your center. So I ended up with 3 1/4 on this side and 2 1/4 on that side. And then for your designer series paper, of course, it's just very typical. You just want to subtract 1/4 inch when you're cutting, and then everything fits. So let's get started. Oh, first I'll show you my tulip card too. So there's when I did with the tulip. I did this a little differently because the tulip set has this cute little die that makes a little tulip. So I made kind of a bridge with that card. And then again, I did my flower on one side, and I did the sentiment across the bottom since that little tiny one fits really nicely there. And so just a very pretty easy to put together layout that you can use over and over again. So let's get our pieces ready to go here. And if you have my kit, you should have everything you need to get this put together. So the only stamping you'll need to do is anything you want for the inside and a sentiment on your little oval here. I did on my sample the Easter blessings. Easter, I think, is April 17th, if I remember right, something like that. So it's we've got a little time, so there's time to get some projects together, but it doesn't hurt to get them early, get them started. Okay, let me get that out of the way, and we'll stamp the sentiment since I have found the little oval. Just get that done first. Easter blessings. All right, and then, oh, that's going to go on top of the larger oval, and I use the double oval punch, which I use all the time. And go ahead and stick that on and let it dry. And then we'll get our designer paper together here. And I put this is actually the same paper. You can decide which sides to use on it. I used the black. I thought would make a nice contrast to the daffodil on that side, and then added back some of the, it's more of a crushed curry color on this side. The daffodils I cut are made out of Daffodil Delight, which is the same as the card base, and crushed curry. And I did pear pizzazz for the stem and the leaves. Now on the inside, I found that this really pretty piece, which I hate to turn over, but it has that nice grid on the back, which means that it would be nice for your little message. And you could even stamp another sentiment on the inside as well, or you could take the daffodil. Let me do this since I just had this idea. Take the daffodil stamp itself and stamp it on the inside like that, and that would look kind of nice too. So we'll just go ahead and, one of my club members likes me to make the cards ahead of time, so I'll probably send her these because she's not online, so this way she gets hers already done and doesn't have to worry about figuring out what to do with all the pieces since she doesn't have access to a computer. Okay, that looks nice. All right, now we'll put together the daffodil pieces. Okay, the stem we'll do first, and we'll just put little dots of glue here and there and get that to stick down, and it'll take up most of the paper here. And we're going to cover over some of that with the flower. You can also just trim it up, trim off the bottom of the stem if you don't want it that long. And then some leaves. Let's see, I like to make sure I look, the die cuts kind of are nicer on one side than the other. So when I get those on the right side, you can always use the other side, of course, but you know, they just cut nicely the other way. And on your handout, I have a little cheat sheet here on how to form the daffodils. So these are the cut pieces, Crushed Curry and Daffodil Delight, and then here they are put together, and then here's the finished daffodil. And if you purchase the bundle, it has another full daffodil, which is a different orientation. So I also have a cheat sheet for that one, and there's a bud too that you can put together. So we'll just start putting pieces together, and they just layer really, really nicely and give that nice dimensional look. Let's see, put these, looks like you can see all right. I keep forgetting to look through the camera there. Okay, so that one on there, and they really do line up really nicely. And then we're putting two together. See, doesn't that look pretty much like a daffodil? And then we're adding the little, I'm not sure what you call that piece. You'll have to, I don't know my botany well enough, I guess. But this can go any direction. I know on the cheat sheet they had it facing this direction. On my sample I faced it that direction. You could make it up. I guess it doesn't look very good down, but any direction really would be good. And then your flower is together, and then you just want to put it onto your project. You could use dimensionals. It's already pretty thick though, so maybe I'll just stick it on without dimensionals this time. And I think I have my leaves a little far apart there. I probably should have, let's see, I have a little wiggle room on that one, so that one I can move out a little bit more. Probably should have put those on a little bit later in the process. Okay, that looks pretty good. My sample's better though, so let me grab that. There we go. So there's the sample, and then I want to put my, oh, I think I had the leaves on the opposite sides on my sample, so that's might be where I messed up. Not too bad, but all right. So I did use dimensionals on the greeting, and I put it just on the one side because it was a little lumpy going across the daffodil pieces there. So there we go. There's the fun fold. And I guess that is it. So again, I'll show you the other one. And the stamping that I did was using, I used the black, tuxedo black pad, and then I colored with Stampin' Blends. So I used, again, the Daffodil Delight and crushed curry. Anyhow, on your handout, it says what I used. So there we go. All the different color combinations, and the patterns are all on your handout. So this is a fun fold that you can do over and over again with any pattern paper and any stamps. So I hope you had fun with that, and try the Asymmetric Gatefold card for yourself. Be back in just a minute with our last card.